time to tell you something new you didn't know. Most of us have heard of the 7 wonders of the world. Things like the Great Wall of China, Machu Picchu, the Colosseum, the Taj Mahal. And these are all wonders of the world that most people are familiar with. However, there exist in this world unbelievable wonders that may not have made the top 7 wonders, but when you hear about them, they will absolutely blow your mind. Here are 10 wonders of the world you didn't know exist. Number 10 is the ITIMAD DAULAH tomb. When visiting India, tourists often head straight to the Taj Mahal, but nearby there's a building which is truly a forgotten wonder. The tomb of ITIMAD Daulah was built between 1622 and 1628, with walls of white marble decorated with lapis lazuli, onyx, topaz, and more. The tomb is known for its striking appearance. Surrounded by 4 13-meter tall towers, you'd be forgiven for thinking that it's a building that was used for fortification in the past. But in fact, it's actually the final resting place for relatives of the Empress Consort Nur Jahan. The building sits inside a large garden, which contains an elaborate network of waterways, making the approach to this tomb even more impressive. Inside, the walls are adorned with incredible paintings alongside the precious stones. Take that, Taj Mahal, you ain't the only game in town. Number 9 is Cathedral il Duomo di Firenze. The Duomo di Firenze is a cathedral in Florence, Italy, and a true forgotten wonder of the world. Construction began in 1296, and unlike the gray stone for many world-famous cathedrals, the Duomo is a brightly colored mix of marble panels. Vibrant pinks and greens mingle with striking white marble sections, and the colors are even more startling due to its incredible size. Seriously, this thing is enormous. The building has a footprint of 8.3 square kilometers. It's 153 meters long, 38 meters wide, and 114.5 meters in height. Then there's the cathedral's dome, which is a marvel of engineering. It was the biggest dome in the world, that is, until modern construction techniques. And engineers are still trying to figure out exactly how they built it. Hey, look at that, it is so big. How'd they do this? Incredibly, it was an amazing feat achieved by an architect who had never even built a dome before, not even a little tiny one. Okay, now I gotta go to Italy. Amazing artwork and cathedrals, and amazing pizza and pasta and meatball. It's nice. Number 8 is the Borobudur temples. The Borobudur Temple is one of the most impressive Buddhist structures ever built and a forgotten wonder. Built during the 8th and 9th centuries in Java, it's located in the Kadu Valley, which runs between 2 volcanoes. The main temple has 3 tiers and 5 terraces, with 3 circular platforms and a monument at the top. 72 shrine domes called stupas populate the platform, and each stupa contains a statue of a Buddha. That's a lot of Buddhas. The temple's design reflects Buddhist beliefs, symbolizing ideas contained within Buddhist scripture, such as the very structure of the universe. To the east of the main temple lies 2 smaller temples. Now, one has a huge monolith structure thought to represent the Buddha himself, while the other's purpose remains a mystery. Hey, what did the Buddha say when he walked into the pizza parlor? Make me one with everything. Thank you. I'll be here all night. Number 7 are the Bonaway Rice Terraces. The Bonaway Rice Terraces have been referred to as the 8th wonder of the world by some people, but they are still unfairly overlooked. These intricately cut terraces climb up the side of a mountain and are located 1,500 meters above sea level. The step-like structures were carved out of the rock by hand over 2,000 years ago and are still some of the most striking man-made structures in the world. It's believed that the terraces were constructed to grow vegetables and grains, perhaps for annual agricultural celebrations throughout the year. To this day, the Ifugao people still harvest foods from them each harvest season. In other words, the engineering feats of these ancient people who built the terraces are still effective 2,000 years later. And we can't even get a dang cell phone battery to last 24 hours. Man, we gotta step up our game. Number 6 is the Ziggurat of Ur. The ziggurat of Ur goes back to the Bronze Age and is clearly a wonder of the ancient world, though often forgotten. A ziggurat is a massive stone structure built on raised ground with terraces which get smaller and smaller as you climb to the top. It has a lot in common with a pyramid, although the structure isn't so symmetrical. The ziggurat of Ur is in modern-day Iraq and was first discovered in 1850. Since then, it's been excavated heavily and even partially restructured, though the modern facade doesn't nearly do the original building justice. Seriously, this thing was massive. It was built by King Ur-Nammu about 4,000 years ago and measured 64 meters in length and 45 meters in width. As for height, nobody really knows for sure how tall it was. It could have been at least 30 meters in height, but some believe it was much bigger. You'd never get me up there. I'm afraid of heights. I would just look at it from the ground and be like, that's lovely. No need to climb it. Just, I'm out. Peace. Number 5 is the Sigiriya Rock Fortress. Sigiriya in Sri Lanka is a crazy example of ancient people taking a feature of the landscape and turning it into a fortress. It was built during the 5th century when a man named Kasyapa seized the throne. In doing so, he ordered that a fortress be built to repel any attacks from others who wanted to be king. This fortress is Sigiriya. It was built on top of a massive rock formation, much like how medieval kings in Europe would build their castles. A palace sat on top of the rock, complete with elaborate wall paintings and a mirror wall of stone, which, when polished, allowed the king to see his own reflection. But the coolest thing is that halfway up the cliffside, he built an entrance guarded by an enormous stone lion, which is why Sigiriya actually means lion rock. This was also back when people were very superstitious and they'd see a giant stone lion and be like, better walk away. Nowadays, people would just be like, okay, I'm just gonna walk in and kill you. Here we go. Number 4 is the giant Buddha. The Lashan giant Buddha certainly qualifies as a forgotten wonder. This statue is carved out of solid rock on a mountain. Its sitting figure towers over visitors to Lashan City in China, measuring 71 meters tall. At the shoulder, it's 24 meters wide, and its fingers alone measure a massive 8.2 meters in length each. That's like my Nono. He's from the old country. He's got these big-ass monkey palms. Carved in the 8th century during the Tang Dynasty, it took a staggering 90 years to complete. But the Lashan giant Buddha is in fact more than just a simple statue, it's an engineering marvel. Those working on it had to incorporate an ingenious drainage system through the carved stone so that the giant wouldn't be damaged by water pouring from the mountain. But this is kind of ironic considering that the giant Buddha was originally built in the hope that spiritual forces would protect the area against floods. Number 3 is Newgrange. The Newgrange Dome in Ireland is an ancient construction which should be better known. Current estimates date the structure to 5,200 years ago, which is older than the Great Pyramids of Giza. The dome measures 85 meters across and is 13.5 meters high. At the opening of the tomb, there are examples of intricate megalithic art, but inside is where it really gets interesting. For years, archaeologists believed that Newgrange was a tomb with a passage cutting into the structure that was 19 meters deep, and where it ends terminates in a small chamber which stored human bones. However, the passage itself lines up with the rising sun during the winter solstice, shining through a small opening and illuminating the bones inside. The religious importance of this suggests that Newgrange is actually an ancient cathedral. Number 2 is Calak Mool. Some wonders of the world are forgotten because nature has reclaimed them. This place is a Mayan ruin deep in the jungles of Mexico. The trees, vines, and roots obscure much of it from view. A city which held 50,000 people, Calak Mool was hugely powerful, marking their dominance with a symbol of a snake. So yeah, we're gonna get you, don't come in here. For this reason, they were known as the Snake Kingdom. So far, 6,750 different structures have been identified at Calakmul, the largest being a Great Pyramid which stands over 45 meters tall. And as with other Mayan periods, the Great Pyramid at Calakmul is the result of different architects building upon older, previous pyramids. So far, 3 different tombs have been discovered inside, but who knows what secrets Calakmul hides deep inside the Mexican jungle. Listen, this is a really cool discovery, but I've seen Indiana Jones and I know what happens when you disturb an ancient people's land. Kalima! 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 And number 1 is Nan Madol. While Venice is world famous for being a city built on water, Nan Madol is often forgotten, even though it achieved a similar engineering feat 1,000 years ago. It may be the greatest forgotten wonder of all, and while no one lives there now, this city on water was so well built that it still stands there today. Situated in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, Nan Madol was built on artificially constructed islands around the 8th and 9th century. These islands were then connected by an intricate network of canals. Approximately 1.5 kilometers long and half a kilometer wide, Nan Madol contains around 100 artificial islands. These are home to stone ruins which once housed nobles and priests. And it's incredible because to this day, no one is even sure how the ancient engineers built Nan Madol. You know, now that I think about it, there's a lot of mysteries in this one. I think it's time to create a new conspiracy theory list. So those were 10 wonders of the world you didn't know existed. And if you enjoyed this, remember to give it a big thumbs up, and also be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and also turn on notifications by clicking the bell beside the subscribe button so that you never miss a thing, because I release new videos all the time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye now!